Gentlemen, I'm going to spend just a moment or two talking to you about finding equivalent fractions. So we're starting out with some fractions here. You'll notice I've got the 4/5 as my first example. What I'm going to do is double both my numerator and my denominator to find an equivalent fraction. In this case, 4 times 2 is going to be equal to 8. 5 times 2 is equal to 10. 8/10 is therefore equal to the 4/5. Now I can take that 4/5 that I started with and multiply it by something completely different. In this case, I'm going to multiply each of those numbers by 5. 4 times 5 gives me a numerator of 20. 5 times 5 gives me a denominator of 25, another equivalent fraction. Now that I've done this, I can take that number, double those values to get a new equivalent fraction equaling 40/50. All of these are equivalent fractions equal to our original 4/5. Moving on, I can take a look at this next one, the 7/8. I want to change my 7/8 into an equivalent fraction. I'm going to do my tricky little lazy way where I just add a 0 onto each of those numbers equaling 70/80, which is an equivalent fraction to the original 7/8. Now, since I took the easy way out on the first one, I'm going to try something a little bit trickier for the second problem. I'm going to take my 70 and my 80, which are both even numbers, and divide them by 2 in order to find an equivalent fraction that looks a little bit different. 70 divided by 2 is going to be equal to 35. 80 divided by 2 is 40. So 35/40 is another equivalent fraction. Now, I can take my original 7/8 and instead of multiplying it by 2 or 3, I'm going to say let's multiply each of these by 7. 7 times 7, 49. 8 times 7, 56. 49/56 is an equivalent fraction to our original value, 7/8. Taking a look at our next fraction, we've got 3/6. I'm going to double each of those numbers, equaling a new fraction of 6/12. I could take that original 3/6, and since both of those numbers are divisible by 3, I divide each of those and end up with 1/2. Now 1/2 is one of those special fractions that we see all the time, and we can think of lots of different fractions that are going to be equivalent. 1/2 is equal to 5/10, 11/22, 13/26, 45/90. You can really play with this one because all of the denominators are just twice the size of the numerator up on top. Try the 6/9 on your own if you want some practice. I hope that this little mini tutorial helped. Thanks and have a good day.